Hey Gundam fans, welcome to another episode of Gundam Explained. For this video, we're continuing our look at 8th MS Team, and this episode is called The Demon Overhead, and I guess it's pretty on point for what happens in this episode. But before we get started, if you haven't, please subscribe, and yeah, give this a like if as you're watching it you think it's pretty cool, because yeah, that helps me out. But yeah, let's get going. So, the Demon Overhead. There's a reason it's called that, and that has to do with something that is potentially a demon that is overhead, that being the Apsalus or asparagus. Really depends on what spelling you look at, but again, that has to do with translation. No, not really asparagus, but it looks like that when I look at it sometimes. Well, we'll see the differences even on the Gundam Wiki. Sometimes it's spelled with an L or an R, but we've seen that before with a lot of Gundam translations. It has to do with the Japanese versus the English translation, the R and the L being similar and interchangeable. And what's really cool about this episode is we're now diving deeper into some of the main characters from the side of Zeon, like AIna and her brother. We're introduced to another character who is an admiral. Whereas most of the series so far, while it's shown AIna just a bit, it's really been focused on mainly the guerrillas and the Federation, and the Zeons have kind of taken a backseat. So we have these two DOPs that are dropping the Apsalus in the Earth's atmosphere. This is for a test flight. AIna is the pilot in it right now because she's testing it for her brother. And apparently Degwanzabi approved of this project. So that's kind of another neat connection there. Here we see Iginius. He's overlooking this project, having his sister piloting it. Now, I'm kind of curious, something I don't remember if this is part of the story, we'll find out later. Is it that she's a new type? Is he a new type? Is he using her because of her abilities? Or is it just that they're siblings and so he wants her to be a part of this? Who knows? Let's see if they explore that a little more. I've never really brought it up, but that music they play when they're showing what I assume is the title of the episode is pretty cool. It kind of fits with the theme. It gets you pumped up for what's coming up next. Okay, so here we get into some deeper story and character development for Sanders. The 7th MS team pulls up, calls him out as the Reaper because everyone dies that he works with. It's very interesting because if I do recall, MS Igloo touched on this very same subject when someone was considered a Reaper. People they were with would die all the time. But the differences in MS Igloo would then show a literal being. I was about to say physical, but it's like a ghost, but it would show a literal being. And it was that female pilot, perhaps, or uniformed individual that I guess was at play, or is what everyone was seeing in their mind. But then it's like, well, isn't that more of a new type thing? So does that mean Sanders is a new type? But then we have to take into account, does that mean there is a Lady of Death around him? Now, we don't see that at all in this. In fact, it's not even like this is a consistent theme within multiple characters in the UC universe. It just happens to be an MS Igloo, that last season of 3 episodes where they really touched on that a whole lot. So regardless, this is the same type of story, but we're not seeing that ghost there. Is that where they got the idea? I don't know. For some reason, it still bugs me that they went so specific to showing a spirit that multiple people see, which is very related to the new type phenomenon, but they never said if that's what it is, and is Sanders a new type. Between him and Joshua in the previous episode, the little new type sound chimed in when they were communicating to each other. But anyway, he was getting tired of people calling him out, because obviously you don't want to be called out for something like that. He went in, beat them up. Mikkel was kind of scared, jumped on his bike, went to get the commander. The commander comes in and actually helps. He just runs right in and starts beating on them too. So again, we're seeing Shiro is quite the hero. Oh, and before that quick shot, we see some of those GMs that are exclusive to 8th MS Team cartoon look very, very cool. All right, and that is the RGM-79 GM ground type. Let's see. Yeah, this first appears in 8th MS Team. Let's see any other information about it. First seen in August of 0079, last seen 0083. Armaments, let's see, XBSA GO3 beam saber, so a specific type of beam saber, a 100mm machine gun, 90mm bullpup machine gun, 180mm cannon, a beam rifle, missile launcher, rocket launcher. So just yeah, rail cannon. It just goes on and on. Just this thing has so many weapons, but I think it depends on the setup, how they are equipped when they go out into battle, which shows how versatile they are. So it's really cool. I mean, look at that, a net gun, different types of shields. So yeah, I guess there's different setups for them, very versatile. Let's see, and then for the history, in order to prevent the expansion of Zeon's power, the GM ground type was quickly deployed in strategically important Southeast Asia. It was also deployed on a priority basis to special forces for the purpose of collecting data on actual battles with MS. Toward the end of the war, it was also deployed in Operation Odessa, which became the stage for a large-scale battle on the ground. So, yeah, very cool. Just a very cool unit altogether. And then the Lieutenant Colonel Kojima shows up to see what 7th and 8th team are doing because they're fighting. And Shiro just says, hey, it was just a friendly little competitive match here. And so luckily they got out of that. But then something came up. There seemed to be something going on nearby that may be Zeon related. And that has to do with that test flight. And Genius giving a grand speech in normal Zeon fashion. We got Degwin Zombie right behind him. I'm just talking about the test flight and how it was successful. And, you know, what's a Gundam UC story without a regal ball of some kind? And that's where Genius is talking to others, maybe about the successful test flight, and we see AIna show up. And, man, she looks pretty cute, despite missing nostrils. And that's Norris Packard behind her. I think I've heard his name come up more than once. And then Admiral Yuri Kelleran shows up. He seems to be kind of this annoying loudmouth, but he's an admiral, and I think that makes him lead over Genius. I'm not too sure, but they do have some history. He starts hitting on AIna and talking about how he remembers her from when she was younger. But we can kind of see how we have this other antagonist for the antagonist. Kind of interesting there. All right, back at the 8th MS team, they're actually out in the woods, camping, kind of cooking a meal. But then Sanders says he wishes to resign. He wants to be moved somewhere else. It's really getting to him when people are calling him out, calling him the Reaper, you know, for his teammates always dying in battle. And while some are scared of that, Shiro does not even care, does not even worry about it, and is telling Sanders, no, you are staying with us. You're a good soldier. You can work with us. Again, just showing how nice Shiro is. It's like, is there anything wrong with this guy? And then Karen comes along and kicks Sanders in the balls. And then I guess she's just mad at him for wanting to be a coward like that. And even calling him out, like, how could you think you're the reason that all that's happening? And I guess that kind of makes sense. All right, so AIna's testing again, but we can see there is an alert going off. So there is something wrong with the Apsalus right now. So that may cause it to run into an issue. Even where they're testing it, it's right where the 8th MS team is. And so it's kind of interesting to see right there that Genius is kind of just blowing that off like it's not a big deal, yet that's his sister in this. So I do think this is kind of an interesting dynamic if he really truly does care for his sister, or it's really just about him testing his experimental machine here. So yeah, they're moving out because they're hearing something that's going on. And you can see Sanders is nervous. So really, this episode, when it comes to the Federation side, seems to be focused on Sanders getting over that perception he has as being the Reaper. And Mikhail getting made fun of again for writing in his journal. But you know what? You keep at it, man. Although, in this scene, apparently he's writing his will. So that's, again, kind of playing off of Sanders' storyline here, where Mikhail was a little more scared about the outcome of that, of possibly dying by being alongside Sanders. Yeah, and then even the Admiral's telling him, yeah, you know, abort, have AIna get out. So the antagonist of the antagonist seems like, on one hand, he has kind of a good side to him. I don't know, it's kind of interesting. All right, some cool mobile suit on mobile suit action. All right, so the team is planning for an ambush. The hover tank is picking up some enemy unit is en route. And they even discuss how with the Minovsky particle dispersal, it's really hard to pick up on what's going on. But yeah, we're about to see. Oh, that's very animated. Here we go. Sick look at this. The music looks good. The framing of the shot is awesome. Let's dive into what this thing is. So, the Apsalus, or Asparas, or asparagus. No, it's the Apsalus. I think there's multiple ways it can be pronounced. But yeah, this is version 1. So, yeah, this is approved by Degwin Zabi and led by Guineas Sahalan, so AIna's brother. And yeah, taking a look at it here, it looks very cool. That's a very small picture, isn't it? But I love how it has that little Zaku head in there. I mean, that just tops it off, right? So what's interesting is this is the project's first prototype, and its development focus was the Minovsky craft system. As such, it was unarmed, and the megaparticle cannon at its center was a dummy. However, it was capable of attacking by increasing the output of its Minovsky craft to generate a shockwave. So that's interesting. And so really not too much on this. I think we're going to start getting more information about this prototype system once we get to the Apsalus 2 and 3. And so Karen was knocked back by the Apsalus, but Sanders comes in to save her. Cool use of the smoke. And really cool to see the gun shoot a dop. Really cool shot here. Awesome. Yeah, and it forced it to retreat. The Apsalus had to retreat because, you know, it doesn't really have many weapons other than how it can manipulate its Minovsky system. But the mobile suits were able to do enough, yeah, to get it to retreat. And Eleanor and Mikkel, they're very happy that they didn't die. Their hover tank did kind of get knocked over, probably having to do with that Minovsky propulsion shockwave that the Apsalus can use. And really cool ending shot here. The team is happy. Sanders, it even ends with him very happy. Karen, Joshua was trying to tell Sanders that, you know, hey, you did a good job. No one died. And so I think that had a really cool, happy ending. So that was episode 4, The Demon Overhead. I think it's a pretty neat episode because we got to dive deeper into AIna, her relationship with her brother, and some other Zeon antagonist. But at the same time, we got to see Sanders' character development and the dynamic between all the characters based on that. Karen, Joshua, she wasn't really scared about it at all. Mikkel was. He was worried about dying. But Shiro, you know, was still able to do his job as commander and lead the team, I guess, to defend against the Apsalus, even though it didn't really have any weaponry. They now know what the Zeon troops in the area are trying to do, and now they can be better equipped for any, you know, future endeavors out there. So everyone, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Please comment and let me know what you like about the episode. Anyway, we'll talk later.